Welcome, dear ones, to your October 2025 Vedic Astrology transmission. September brought eclipse thresholds and karmic closures. Now October opens as a quieter chamber, but don't confuse quiet with passive. This month is sacred in its refinement, discipline, and emotional maturation. It holds exaltation and debilitation, both sides of things. It asks, what will you devote your energy to when the path becomes clear again? You're not lost. You are remembering what must stay, what must be rebuilt, and what is now structurally aligned to carry your true wealth. If you're someone who feels the rhythm of life more than the rules, and you know your success is rooted in soul, you're exactly where you're meant to be. Each month, I share a Vedic astrology transmission to help conscious leaders, creatives, and visionaries move in harmony with divine timing. This isn't about prediction. It's about remembrance. If you're new to this space and want to attune more deeply, you're welcome to explore 2 free tools that may serve your alignment. The Sacred Wealth Archetype Quiz from the Sacred Wealth Code will help you identify one of your soul's highest gifts, one of your archetypes. And the Vedic Astrology Free Chart Calculator will help you to view your sidereal chart, your Vedic astrology chart, and begin listening from alignment. There's a lovely guide that helps you along with that goes with that. They're here to serve. All right, let's begin. Venus is in Leo with Ketu through October 9th. This is about dissolving ego attachments in love and in value. The month begins with this Venus conjunction in the royal sign of Leo with Ketu, the south node of the moon, an ongoing purification of desire, beauty, and self-worth. This is karmic refinement in the heart field. Stripping away outdated identities around romance, visibility, and validation. Leo wants to shine. Ketu wants to vanish. And together, they burn false light so that true resonance may remain. Venus is our great connector in the Sacred Wealth Code archetype system. Leo is ruled by the king, ruled by the leader, and we have the mystic that is Ketu, which was the aspect that created the solar eclipse we just had, the mystic. The mystic's going to be in Leo for almost another 16 months or so. So with Venus and Ketu in Leo, where have you mistaken performance for intimacy or visibility for value? Mercury, the great communicator and the merchant in the Sacred Wealth archetype system, transits Libra October 2nd through the 24th. This is relational intelligence and diplomatic communication. Mercury has been exalted in Virgo as the month begins, and it moves into Libra on October 2nd. This shift turns mental focus towards partnerships, negotiations, fairness, and beauty in speech. Mercury in Libra is a bridge, seeking shared language and aesthetic balance. Be mindful. Mars is also in Libra, and Mars, because it's nearby, it can make the mind lash out instead of listen. Mars, hot, fast. Mars is very much the strategist while it's in Libra, but it has the side of the honorable warrior and the shadow side as well of the honorable warrior. So it can really heat things up. It's fine for passion, but breathe before you speak. Consider the other. Libra wants connection and agreement, but without over-compromising. There'll be a full moon, represented by the Queen, in Pisces in the nakshatra of Revati on October 6th, very late, almost at midnight on October 6th. And this is very much about compassion, closure. Pisces is the end of the zodiac and completion of emotional cycles. This full moon opens October's inner dimension. Because of Revati, the final lunar mansion, it guides us to walk home. Revati governs transitions, soul maturity, and completions. In Pisces, this moon brings emotional culmination and spiritual insight. It shines light on what began months ago and is now ready to be released with grace. Saturn will be here and Neptune will be here as well. A good time to ask yourself what cycle is complete, even if I haven't yet named its ending. What cycle is complete? Let yourself rest here. Let the tides carry away what you no longer need to hold. I'll be sharing a dedicated transmission for the full moon in Pisces, along with holding a live full moon sacred healing circle as I do every month for those called to walk this passage in real time. Venus transits Virgo October 9th through November 2nd. Venus is debilitated here. This is debilitation and devotion through refinement. When Venus moves from fiery Leo into humble Virgo, Virgo, very sensitive sign of healing and purity, it's its sign of debilitation. In Virgo, Venus is our great connector. Venus loses her sensual allure and some of her connectivity, but she gains sacred focus. The transit tests superficial pleasures and brings attention to what actually nourishes. Relationships may feel critical or subdued, but beneath the friction is an opportunity. Refine your values through service, sincerity, and discernment. This is not about withholding love. It's about purifying it. So ask yourself, where is love asking to become more grounded, clear, and true? Pluto, one of the outer planets, goes direct in Capricorn. Yes, in Vedic astrology, it's in Capricorn on October 13th. This is structural transformation beginning to move forward. After months of internal dismantling, Pluto turns direct in Capricorn, the sign of order, authority, and legacy. This forward motion brings long-buried truths to the surface, power dynamics and structural patterns, personal or collective, begin to reorganize. What's been dismantling under the surface can now be reorganized in the light. It's subtle at first, but new foundations are forming. Let what's been metabolizing in the dark now find constructive channels of expression. This is Capricorn, the sign ruled by the organizer and the administrator. It's called to walk with a foot in both worlds, the inner and the outer, and be refined in our expression. The sun, the great leader, transits into Libra on October 17th and will be there for a month. This is where the sun is debilitated. Debilitated light, humility, harmony, and relational balance. As the planets move through Libra, we get an opportunity to refine relationship. And relationship starts at home with us. This isn't weakness with the sun being debilitated here. It's a sacred reduction of ego so that equilibrium can be restored. Where we once sought dominance, we now must choose cooperation in partnerships, business, or leadership. Allow room for the other. This is a time for harmony, aesthetics, and refined authority. The debilitated sun in Libra, the light might be low for the sun, but that allows the light of another to shine brighter. And there's a lot to be learned from taking a step back as a leader, listening, and allowing the other to come forth, making space. So where are you being asked to lead not with force, but with fairness? Where are you being asked to listen more than speak? We have a big blessing this month with Cancer, the sign of Jupiter's exaltation, Jupiter moving into Cancer for a short time. It'll eventually retrograde back into Gemini, where it is currently. This is an exaltation of wisdom, blessing, and emotional grounding. It's emotional intelligence. Jupiter is the great sage, the great teacher. Brings wisdom, calls us to move from wisdom. Jupiter becomes incredibly emotionally wise in Cancer, nurturing, and profoundly protective. Cancer, the sign of home, the sign of family, the sign of devotion of the heart. So this shift marks a turning point where delays give way to clarity and confusion gives way to inner knowing. Jupiter in Cancer casts benevolent aspects onto Scorpio, Pisces, and Capricorn. So that means it'll aspect Saturn in Pisces, enhancing spiritual depth, emotional maturity, and structural alignment. Let yourself receive the blessing of enoughness. Where is emotional wisdom guiding you to build something rooted, generous, and true? It's the guidance of Jupiter in Cancer. This is a bit of a sneak peek. It will retrograde back into Gemini. And then in June of 2026, Jupiter moves into Cancer for its year stay in Cancer. Mercury and Mars conjunct in Libra on October 18th. Mental fire, strategic speech, and creative negotiation. This conjunction blends Mercury's intellect with Mars's heat, creating a potent moment for strategic communication. Again, the strategist and the communicator. It's also the merchant is in here too. Can be good for business, but we need to make diplomatic decisions and still breathe so that we're not thinking or moving too fast. Be mindful. This is a blade. Use it with precision. The shadow side is going to be reaction. So reflect on. Am I speaking to serve truth or to defend an identity I have outgrown? Watch your ego. On October 21st, we have a new moon, the great nurturer, in the Sacred Wealth Code archetype system. 5 degrees of Libra in Chitra nakshatra. Architectural beauty, partnership, renewal, creative structure. This new moon on October 21st in Chitra, which is called the Bright One, a nakshatra of sacred design and creative vision. This is a moon of aesthetic clarity, relational alignment, and rebuilding. Chitra holds the blueprint. Libra holds the mirror. And together, they invite a new cycle in how we relate, create, and partner with purpose. Set your intention not from longing, but from structure. Mercury moves fast and is moving into Scorpio on October 24th. It's also the sign where it will, next month, retrograde. Depth of thought, inner strategy, and hidden truths. Scorpio, the deep sign. Mercury enters Scorpio and immediately drops into the underworld of the mind. This transit favors investigation, strategy, soul inquiry, and revelation. Words become spells. Thoughts become structures. Let your mind walk the inner corridors, not in fear, not in reactivity, but with awareness. Scorpio is a sign, a deep sign of devotion. Pierce through the shadow emotional layers to uncover, not to unravel, what you're truly devoted to. Mars transits Scorpio, the great engineer and honorable warrior, on October 27th through December 8th. Mars owns Scorpio. It's one of its homes, Aries and Scorpio. This is power, precision, and passion in right action. As its home in its own sign, this is where intensity becomes sacred action. In Scorpio, Mars is focused, potent, and transformational. This brings clarity around what must be pursued and what must be released. Mars here holds the sacred blade. It cuts what is false to reveal the root. Act not from urgency, but from inner conviction. And dear one, October is not explosive, it's exact. It's not loud, but deeply structural. Not passive, but wise. Jupiter's exaltation brings a long-awaited blessing. Venus and the sun's debilitation teach us humility, coherence. Mercury and Mars bring clarity. The structure is shifting, but it's doing so with your consent. You are not at the mercy of these movements. You never are. You are their mirror. You are their architect. If you know this is a time of sacred alignment, if you're being asked to lead from coherence, not from performance, you're invited to step into sacred wealth mastery. It's not a course, it's a resonance field, a living temple for soul-aligned service, sacred architecture, and true wealth. If you're feeling the call to deepening clarity and remembrance, you may also be guided to receive a soul blueprint reading or a sacred wealth code reading. These are not tools, they are transmissions, sacred mirrors that reveal what you already carry and what your soul is now ready to walk with. And if this transmission served you, please like, comment, subscribe, share, and stay in rhythm with future updates. This helps the field reach those who are listening for it. So much appreciation to you, so much love, and I look forward to being with you next time.